Welcome back. Do you know how much you need to save on a monthly basis to retire comfortably? Well, that's what we're talking about today. In a previous video, I talked about how much you actually need to save to retire at 67 years old. If you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend that you check it out. In that video, we talked about an example where somebody needed to save $680,000 to retire at the age of 67. Today, we want to work a little bit backwards, start thinking about how much do I need to save on a monthly basis to hit that target goal. This discussion will rely on you knowing compound interest. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure to check that video out. To solve this problem, we need to have some assumptions in place. First of all, we're going to assume that you are a 25-year-old individual and you're going to retire at the 67-year mark. So that gives you 42 years to accumulate your retirement wealth. The other assumption that we need to make is an annual rate of return. And this is where things kind of get complicated. And this is frankly where social media goes a little bit bad. The other day I saw a social media person talk about having 100% rate of return on an annual basis. That means your money will double every year. It sounds great, but not really realistic. So be careful with that. Don't believe the hype. How do we determine the average interest rate or rate of return that we should use as part of our analysis? In that case, what I like to use this data. Let's look at the market. So on this website, they show you the 10-year return for the return for the past 10 years. So in the past 10 years, the S&P 500 has averaged 13.9% return per year. If we look and expand that to 30 years, the rate of return is 10.7%. And for the past 50 years, the average rate of return per year is 10.9%. So I'm going to be slightly conservative and use the 10% rate of return here. So let's talk about our assumptions. We have somebody that's 25 years old going to retire at 67. That means they have 42 years to accumulate the wealth. The rate of return is 10%, and we are saying that their target retirement savings should be at $680,000. There are many ways to make this calculations, and there's a lot of website calculators out there. If you're interested, the one I like to use is this one by NerdWallet. So let's check it out. Let's set our savings goal at $680,000. Our starting balance is 0, so we have no money today saved. And time in years, we said 42 years. And the annual interest rate we said was 10%. And now we're going to calculate. Wow, $87.81. All right, so you're telling me it only takes $87.81 starting at the age of 25 on a monthly basis at a rate of return of 10% to hit my target? That sounds amazing, and it sounds attainable. It's perfect, but sometimes we get really comfortable with that. And when I tell people that you could meet your goals, what do you think they do? They say, well, if it's that easy, then let me wait another 10 years to start saving. Let me wait till I have more money to save. That is the typical response. It happens often. Don't wait. So let's look at what happens when you wait for another 10 years. So now you start at the age of 35 and you're going to retire at 67. So instead of having 42 years, you only have 32 years. Instead of having to save $87.81, now you have to save $244 per month. So your cost of saving increased drastically by waiting those 10 years. And it's typical. It's always easy to think about saving in the future. 3 years ago, you said today was a good day to start saving. Today, you're probably saying, I'm going to wait until I have more money to start saving. Don't. Start early. Start with something. Start with $5, $10. Start getting in the habit of savings and then grow how much you save so you could reach your retirement goal. Just like anything else in life, it is hard to get started, but once you get started, it's really easy. The way I look at it, it's similar to going to the gym. The hardest part of going to the gym for me is getting to the gym. Once I'm there, everything's fine. getting to the gym is difficult. So getting to savings is going to be difficult, but get started. Let's try another example, this time using one of my Excel sheets. I'll link to it in the description. Here, we're going to pick how much we want to save per month, and it's going to tell us how much we're going to accumulate based on a specific interest rate, rate of return. So let's say we pick $150 that we're going to save every month for the next 42 years, and at a rate of return of 10% for simplicity and comparison. That means at the end of the 42 years, or by the time I retire, I would have accumulated $1.2 million. Now, if you're like me and most people, you're asking, where do I get $150 per month to put into savings? If you're asking that question, then you might be interested in my next video that looks at how to budget, how to track your spending, and how to cut some of those expenses so you could increase your savings rate. If you are a saver, leave a comment and tell me what portion of your income, what percentage of your income do you try to save per month? 5, 10, 15, or 20%? I'll look forward to reading your comments.